Hey guys, I just want to share what happened at the Ian Clayton conference last weekend, um, on the 4th, 5th of August 2017, because it was hugely significant for our nation, Scotland, and the nations. A few months back, my friend Jane Schroeder was here, and as we were just having our Friday hub meeting, our gathering, we have it actually in my home. Jane was here, and it was just a few of us. It wasn't many, and she began to see this throne coming down, and she was overwhelmed by it because it was so powerful. So we've been really thinking about what God's doing governmentally, and it's been so powerful. So on the first morning of the Ian Clayton conference, I shared on a vision I had a few years ago when I went to Iona. And in the vision, I actually fell asleep in Iona Abbey. And in the vision, I saw the abbey being dismantled brick by brick and then rebuilt again down in Ayrshire in Scotland, in the west coast. And I was sharing how that the abbey to me represents the governmental realm. It's the government that St. Columba and those guys walked in. So it was symbolic, the abbey was symbolic of the governmental realm they had. So I shared that, and then in the afternoon Ian was sharing about Ezekiel and the throne. And he began to share even about the numbers 3, 4 and 5 and what they meant. And it was a really powerful time, but what we didn't realise then till that night was there was actually an earthquake in Scotland. It was the biggest earthquake in 30 years. Happened at exactly 3:45 p.m. Ian is sharing about the number 3, the number 4 and the number 5 and all the Hebrewic meanings, like the meaning from a Hebrew perspective. And then exactly 3:45 there was an earthquake. And it was the biggest one in 30 years. So I just want to share, Abby sent for what the number 30 means from a Hebrew perspective. And it says this: the number 30 in Hebrew was written as the letter lamed, which is literally an ox, goad, or staff. Thus, it was a symbol of authority, leadership, or rulership. 30 is the number of dedication for rulership. It was the age which God established as the age of rulership for priests. Joseph was elevated to power at the age of 30, as we read in Genesis 41:46. And that in verse 46 says, now Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. He was 30 years old as a priest. And in the morning, Ian was talking about priests, but then moving from just being priests to kings in the land. And then we were talking about this throne. And he was talking about 3, 4 and 5 and what those numbers meant. Then at 3:45 p.m. we have the biggest earthquake in 30 years. Like, all creation is groaning. Like, there's something shifting here in Scotland. A few years ago, God spoke, and he gave us Psalm 45 and Isaiah 60. But then God spoke and says that Scotland was a linchpin. And God has spoken through various prophets like Chuck Pierce and said that Scotland was the first. He even came here at the beginning of the year, and he was travelling the world, and he said that Scotland had to be first because Scotland is the first. And there's something about Scotland being a linchpin. And at this recent conference, an earthquake, biggest in 30 years. That is not a coincidence. And it's not a coincidence we're talking about the governmental realm, or we're talking about how there's a throne coming amongst us. Jane had seen the throne a few months back. 30 represents authority. It represents moving into authority. Like, the time has come. So I just wanted to share this small video just because I was excited, and we're excited because God is beginning to place that governmental realm upon a people who are willing and saying yes. And that's any of you guys out there and me, anyone who's willing to say yes. There's something shifting, there's something shaking. All creation is groaning and longing, and all creation is responding. Like, the creation is responding to what Ian was teaching. Creation at exactly the time, 3:45 p.m. Ian was talking roughly at that time, maybe not exactly that time, but he was talking about number 3, 4, 5, authority, government. And then we get the biggest earthquake in 30 years. So God is shifting, God is changing things. And even at the end of the meeting, my friend Daniel, who was doing the sound, he shouted me over, and he said, "Put your ear to the wall." I'm like, "Why put my ear to the wall?" Put my ear to the wall, and all you could hear was whoom, whoom, whoom. It was this kind of, it was like a frequency inside the wall, and it kept whoom, whoom, and it was just moving inside the wall, and there was no instruments on. All the sound system had been taken down. Like, it was just the frequency inside the wall. And even when you touch the wall, you can feel the frequency going through your hands. It's like even the stones will cry out, Jesus said. Like even creation will cry out. It's like there's a frequency, a new frequency. There's something changing in the land. Creation is responding. And there's something shaking. Scotland is shaking. And God is establishing his government. And he's establishing his government amongst those who are meek and humble, those who say yes to his will, his blueprint in the nation. Not our will, not our ideas, not our plans, not our purposes, but those who say, Lord, we are a priest unto God, but we want to establish your throne, not our throne, not our ministry, not our kingdom, not our ideas, not our program, but letting Christ be the head again. He will move earth if he can find a people who let him be head again. Christ is the head of the church, not me, not you, not any of us, not any ministry. We must let go of our man-made ideas and agendas and programs and let Christ be the head. And if he is the head, he will establish his throne in regions, and whole regions will come under the canopy of the glory. Whole regions will come under the canopy of his authority, his government. And we will walk again in that which Columba had and Patrick had, and even greater, because we will do even greater than Jesus. Jesus said, you will do what I did and even greater. It's like it says in the word, be ye transformed. The actual word is be ye transfigured. If you look it up in Strong's, there's something for our generation that we have never seen. And it's great to walk in even what Columba and Patrick had, but we're going to have something even greater. In creation at the weekend was responding. The earth was moving. The biggest earthquake in 30 years. 30 years representing authority. It was a time for authority for us in Scotland. It's a time to function in the governmental realms. It's a time to be priests and kings. Priests and kings, not just talk about it, not just a theological concept, but begin to engage in the heavenly realms so that we become like Christ, first of all, and then we fulfill his blueprint on the earth. Not our will, but his will be done. So I just wanted to say, it's exciting what's happening here in Scotland. It's exciting what God is doing, because I love what Ian says, it's about Scotland, but it's not. It's not just for here, it's for the whole earth, because this is a gateway, if you like. It's like a linchpin for the whole earth. And God is about to move in such ways that we've never seen. So I just wanted to share this wee video to let you know what happened at the weekend and how that we should get excited, because God is moving. Creation is groaning. Creation is responding. And God's throne is being established in the nation and nations and the earth. Amen, guys.